Hi, welcome to your active rest day or mobility workout. This day is for when you want to train, but we don't want too much intensity or too much volume. But you have the energy and you want to practice. That's what this day is perfect for. So here I am starting with a stretch flow. From there on, we're going to move into activations, warm up, and our actual routine. You can also choose to do this stretch routine at the end, of course, or even do it at the start and at the end. You can do whatever your body pleases to do. It should be short, sweet, a little bit of a mixture between passive and active. So I hope you enjoy it. At the end of the video, so when our mobility routine ends, you will also find an extra stretch routine. You can use this to do and practice on your recovery days or whenever you please, actually. This is a routine that is focused on pancake stretching. This stretch is very well known, but what it's basically about is opening of the hips, anterior rotation of the hips, so tucking your hips back with a straight back, and stretch out your hamstrings and build up strength while you're also stretching out the muscles. And that is why I am implementing it in your workout, because it's really fun to learn the pancake eventually, but it brings with it so many benefits in flexibility and mobility that I think it will be very nice for you. So, when you're ready, let's get into the workout. We will first see our cat cows, meaning we are going to pull the spine in an arch and then hollow. And in combination to that, we're going to protract and retract the shoulder blades, and we're going to tilt the hips inwards and outwards in one movement. So we're seeing a curve or a wave of the spine, as well as activation of those shoulder blades and the pelvic floor. We're keeping the arms straight and strong. We're keeping the core tucked in, and we're really moving through all of those three areas of the body. From there, we move on to the floor. We're going for shoulder mobility. We lay flat but keep our shoulders and chin lifted, chest strong, and we're placing our hands behind our backs at the lower back. Elbows turned outwards and upwards. We're constantly trying to make as much space as we can. We're lifting them as high as we can. Then we stretch out through the arms, palms to the ceiling. Again, as high as you can, strong arms as if you're pushing something away. We're slowly but surely moving the arms up until we cannot go any further, and then we internally rotate the palms so the palms face down. We end up with straight arms next to the ears and close them and cross them at the upper back. Throughout this whole exercise, we're really focused on shoulder rotation, also keeping a tight core, legs engaged. You basically push the hips down into the floor and you really focus on strengthening and lengthening through those arms. We're going to do this slow and steady and controlled. The articulation between the mind and the upper body is all that matters here. Really push yourself and tell yourself constantly up, up, up. Arms lift up as high as possible and as far away as possible. I try to reach to the fingertips as well, just for extra engagement. After this, we're going to an active body hold. So we're staying on the floor. We're keeping the same activation through the core. Right now, we're going to slightly tilt the elbows towards us. So we're kind of scooping them down, meaning that the inner part of the elbow is facing upwards. We lift ourselves up, but we're trying to do so by fully engaging the upper back and the lower body. So we don't want to fully arch through the lower back, as you see here. We really want to stretch and open up through those legs and through those shoulders. You can keep a straight gaze as long as you don't shrug your shoulders up. Keep them nice and low. You want tension under the armpit, that special area we've been talking about a lot. Again, here, go as high and as strong as possible. We then move on for pike holds. So we're going to kind of mimic a handstand. We're going to suck in our core, have strong arms, press our shoulders away from the floor, And we're going to shift our hips forward, placing our body weight into our arms and shoulders. When we are in a head down position, so a handstand position, our shoulders are kind of shrugged. They come closer to the ears. So we are really pushing ourselves away from the floor and we want to see that elevation in the shoulders. You can use yoga blocks. You will see that it's easier to lift up your hips and shift them forward more, but it will also be a little bit more difficult. We're getting into a killer. We're going to do some leg lifts with core compression. Starting off by inhaling through the nose, exhaling fully. Stretch out the legs in front of you. This is hard. We can start off with bent knees. We're going to place our hands right beside us. The further we walk them away from us, the harder this exercise is going to be. So let's start here. We depress the shoulders, push ourselves away from the floor. We tense the legs and the core. Going to slightly bend forward, tense the core, use the hip flexor to lift up the legs. 1, 2. Keep pressing into the floor. Don't sway back. Don't sway too much forward, then we'll need more compression. And make sure to not fully round through the lower back. We want small movements here with a lot of engagement. So we go up, 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 up. Slowly working to our L-sit. Now we're moving on to our pancake stretch routine. We're going to start with 90-90 wipers or knee shifts. So what we're doing here is we're starting with a 90-degree position of both knees. Then the first knee that we're going to lift off the floor travels up. The heel stays firmly put into the floor. And then you travel that knee up until it cannot travel further without lifting the other knee. And only then we lift the other knee. While both knees are lifted and shifting, we try and keep as much space in between the knees as possible. So we don't want to cave in like one knee getting closer to the other. We just want to keep them as wide as possible to really stretch out those hips. We're also looking towards a neutral spine. We then end up to one side, either the right or left side in front of us. We're going to make sure that our hips are in a straight line, not that one part of the hip socket is lagging behind the other. So we're going to turn inwards, I should say. We're going to do some pulses and forward stretches here, but we're going to try and not do that by touching our nose to the floor as you see here, because that creates a bulge in the lower back and very deep rounding. The whole point of the pancake is that we are going to get close to the floor with the torso while having the legs spread with a straight back and anterior pelvic tilt. So that's what we're preparing ourselves for. So what we're going to think about is we're going to move the belly button closer to the thigh, and we have our spine straight and our chest up and strong. It's not about how deep you go here. It's about how deep you go with a straight back and anterior pelvic tilt. So what we're trying to do is we are working with your range of motion to then broaden your range of motion. It's this whole philosophy of time under tension, but with perfection. That will actually build it out. So we do this on both legs, and we will then move on with the second part of the stretch, which is our actual first position in a pancake position. So we spread the legs, not too wide. Try and keep something of like a 45 degree. It really doesn't have to go as wide as you can. That will be a split. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift the hips backwards so that rounding in the lower back, we don't want that. And then we're going to forward fold, but not nose to floor, but again, navel to thigh. Now, here, pay attention to your depth. Again, you don't have to go deep. It's all about your range of motion. I like to sometimes use a block, a yoga block, or a pillow, or something against my navel just because it gives me that extra cue that I need to push that part of my body forwards and not my chest or my nose or my forehead. So we really want a slight hollow arch right at that space between the lower back and the glutes. If this is hard for you, place something underneath your hips. This again could be a yoga block or just a pillow. It will help so much. If you're still very tight there, try and do the same thing, but with your knees up. So you have your knees up as far as you can, and that will allow you to go deeper into your forward fold with anterior pelvic tilt. From there, we move on to compression lifts. We've just seen those in our workouts, so you know hopefully how to perform them. They help us to build compression strength in the core and in the hip flexors, which is something we will really need in our future journey, but also to increase our hip flexibility. Then we move to some side split stretches. We're going to do this again with anterior pelvic tilt, so your hips are tilted backwards, your butt sticking out and not sticking in. And we are working with an angle of the legs that works for you, that's comfortable. We stretch it out and then move over to compression lift. So same thing, we're lifting those legs up, but now one leg at a time. It's going to be pretty intense. We're going to repeat the compression lifts with a straight spine, not a rounded back at the bottom, but with our legs wide. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. Really push in the floor when you do this, engage your abs, and try to not round too much through the back. It is inevitable to round a little bit. If you notice that this is too much, again, put something underneath the hips or just bend the knees. It's going to be so much easier. We then stretch it out with a forward fold. Again, stay in a range that feels comfortable, and you're done.